Good evening, campers, dreamers, and babysitters. With over 60 cast and crew interviews and exclusive behind-the-scenes material, this is a unique, comprehensive, and fully explorative scene-by-scene retrospective and an immersive 4+ hour journey into the making of the seminal sci-fi movie RoboCop. And welcome to my raw reaction review of Robo-Doc, the creation of RoboCop. And yes, guys, we were lucky enough to get yet another screener, this time for Robo-Doc, the creation of RoboCop. And yes, it's only me this time around. Dylan still has his fear of robots. He's still got some PTSD after watching Chappie, so he's still recovering. But no, seriously, this one was something that I have been looking forward to quite a bit since it was announced. We've been waiting a couple of months here. And I knew this was going to be a big deal. RoboCop, for me, is such a great film, such a great 80s film. It's something that I always go back to, and I highly recommend to anyone who hasn't seen it yet. So if you stumbled upon this review and haven't seen RoboCop, I highly recommend it, especially looking at how this documentary here is structured, which is something a little bit different than what we're used to. This is directed or co-directed by a couple guys you may be familiar with. Christopher Griffiths and Eastwood Allen. They are responsible for like a couple documentaries that we've seen in the past. Definitely streaming on Screambox right now. We have Pennywise, the story of it, as well as Hollywood Dreams and Nightmares, the Robert Englund story, both of which we have reviewed here on the channel. So if you're wondering if those are for you, go check out those reviews. So yes, a cheap plug, but nonetheless, they are definitely great quality documentaries. And I gotta say, Robo-Doc here is completely in line with those. Like I said, a little bit different structure than what we're used to here. This one is releasing on Screambox separately in 4 different episodes, which I adore. I think that's such a smart move here, especially when you look at the documentaries that they've done in the past. And yes, those are very thorough and they cover a lot of ground, but just diving into Robo-Doc, and you'll understand it as soon as you watch that first episode. They go through the film RoboCop with a fine-tooth comb. I don't think they left any rock unturned, any cast member not talked to. I mean, they go through from top to bottom. This thing is very thorough. So if you haven't seen RoboCop and just want to check out that first episode, I highly encourage you to, because I think that's going to motivate you to actually check out the film itself. And hey, you got 3 more episodes hitting you in consecutive weeks, so you can't lose there. But jumping into the actual content itself, I gotta say, you look at documentaries and you're always curious of what the cast list is going to look like. Who are they going to talk to? And sometimes it can be a bit of a letdown if they don't get the bigger names. But I got to say here, they got everybody. From Peter Weller to Kurtwood Smith. Paul Verhoeven is definitely a big part of this as well. And just being able to pick their brains and listen to everything that they talk about. Peter Weller, such a unique cat himself, but he has so many great stories, and just diving into that RoboCop role. I don't think anyone else could have been that choice. And when you listen to him talk and the kind of method acting that he went through a little bit with the miming and getting his unique movements down, even though with the suit they didn't shine through that much, but he was definitely prepared for this role. And even jumping into the other characters, Kurtwood Smith, and just the gang in RoboCop. You can tell how much love they have for those characters and how much improv that went through, and just unique things that were going on during filming, because everyone brought different personalities, their own little things, and from wardrobe to actual lines themselves. This was it seemed Paul Verhoeven very much encouraged the kind of workshop method where, hey, let's try one take, we'll try this, another take, we'll try this, and everything was pretty fluid on set, which did surprise me. But with these kind of more so almost independent, this was an Orion Pictures production, so they did definitely encourage that kind of method where it was, make this your own, put your stamp on this. And Paul Verhoeven certainly did that. He talks about kind of budget issues they went through, which doesn't really surprise me with this type of film. It's something that is more and more commonplace when you're looking at these kind of DIY productions like that. But they made the best of it, and kind of what they had to do, and kind of leveraging a little bit in terms of he actually talks about stopping production at one point to get a big scene, which is very memorable. Which, if you've seen RoboCop, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. And how they was so integral in actually getting that production made. And it's so interesting going into the special effects here, which is something that I think sometimes RoboCop does go overlooked a little bit. Rob Bottin just did a phenomenal job sculpting the actual look of RoboCop and making him a little more sleeker than what was initially designed. And it's so iconic. It's something so different and adds so much to that character. And just being able to see those stages that they go through of, the introductory design of RoboCop and then getting to what we would see on film. And they have tons of pictures. I mean, a lot of the behind the scenes stuff is just, I was just enthralled with how much they were able to acquire in doing this documentary. Because like I said, this thing is so thorough in terms of talking to the cast. They even talk to so many different, I guess you would say, extras. If you want to go that route, they talk to one of the characters just called Creep, and then Creep 2, which is, that should tell you how thorough this thing is. They really track down everybody. And just some of the scenes in here, I think it's such an intriguing watch, especially if you watch even this the first episode, and then go into watching RoboCop, the actual film itself, because you'll understand, some of these actors taking small scenes and then just putting their own stamp on it and saying, okay, we have to see more of this, and how those scenes were expanded. And, definitely the budgetary issues that RoboCop went through of being over budget and then trying to still get that production made. It's something that is, punk rock. It's something that's so unique. And, not knowing if this production was really going to hit, with Terminator coming out. And I could see this easily being overlooked as a Terminator knockoff if you didn't know the subject matter. And that's something that Paul Verhoeven really did. And he goes into it here, kind of that social commentary, and how even the cast members, they talk about, I don't think this film would have been successful if it didn't have that Paul Verhoeven stamp on it. And you can definitely see it, especially when you understand that director's ideals and what he wanted to achieve, especially if you see his other filmography and some of the social commentaries that he has. Because RoboCop, in a sense, is very heavy on the social commentary. And this documentary explains so much of that. In a world where we're bombarded with so many different documentaries, whether it's horror, sci-fi, or just genre documentaries in general, Robo-Doc absolutely stands out as just being one of those, again, so thorough documentaries, and it moves really quick. And these things are each episode over an hour. But you really fly through it because, again, they've got so many intriguing interviews and so many behind the scenes things that you may not have been aware of. And it really shows the making of such a special film like RoboCop and how that has just stood the test of time and how we're still talking about it today. So definitely check out RoboCop. It's a high RoboDoc, excuse me. Definitely check that one out. It's high on my list of documentaries that we've seen over the past year and a half. It's something that watching the 4 episodes, easy breezy. It's definitely something I'm going to go back and check out. It's got me eager to turn on RoboCop and just give that a watch through, and then turn on this documentary one more time and check it out. This is something that, it's always a toss-up. Is RoboCop horror or not? And I think it does have some of those horror undertones that can justify it maybe in that genre. But it's something that I think this is a great start to getting us prepped for the Halloween season here. So high recommend for Robo-Doc, airing on Screambox. You can't go wrong. It is coming out August 29th is the first episode, so definitely check that out. I guarantee you once you watch that first episode, you're going to be eagerly waiting episode 2. I know I was, but I had that luxury of being able to pop them on one after the other. But it's something that as Dylan says, if you're not subscribed to Screambox, what are you doing? This is another just added to the all-star lineup that Screambox has, whether it's documentaries or just original properties in general. Definitely check it out. High recommend on my list. But yeah, that wraps it up for this little review. If you are not subscribed, please do and give us a like here. We have officially reached over 1,000 subscribers, so we are running and gunning right now. A lot of great stuff on the channel as well. Sunday Scaries is up, as well as our other Raw reaction for Beaten to Death, the Welcome Villain, a new film out there, which definitely check that out for our thoughts and opinion, as well as our Slaughterhouse Raw reaction as well. So a lot of great stuff already on the channel, and a lot of great stuff coming. But yeah, that wraps it up here for me. So until next time, I'm Luke Janesco, and stay scared.